First and 10 from the Jacksonville 16. The lone setback is McCarty, who gets the ball and picks his way through the line. Has a hole, barrels over one tackler, and goes into the end zone for a touchdown. McCarty goes 16 yards, and the Great Danes are on top 6-0.
And he was hit after a very short gain, again by Rolando Fines, the defensive end, and he just powered over him. I don't know if Rolando Fines has seen anyone in the Pioneer League who was run like that, powered over him, and went in untouched into the end zone. Good start for the Great Danes.
The tailback on first and goal, up the middle, and he walks into the end zone for a touchdown. For David McCarty, his second touchdown of the day, his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, and Albany grabs a 13-0 lead.
Boy, how long does it seem between McCarty touchdowns? You know, so much has gone on between that first time Albany marched down the field and scored, and this time when they marched on a short field, half the field, and scored. So many missed opportunities, so many things like that, and now Jacksonville, unfortunately, finds themselves where they were against Dayton, down by 2 touchdowns, pending the extra point here.
With only a little more than a quarter to go. Herb Glass out of the hold of Chris Lynch, the snap, the spot, the kick, and it is good. And the Albany Great Danes jump out on top 14-0 in this third annual Gridiron Classic. We'll be back with more. You're watching Northeast Conference Packcast on PackNetwork.com. In goal at the Jacksonville 4. 8:15 to play. Albany on top 14-0. Peterson and McCarty in the backfield. McCarty powering his way through and carries 2 tacklers into the end zone for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the day, and Albany is on top 20-0.
Justin Peterson with a lead block there, and look at this. There's no way he should score there. There's no way, but his legs keep moving, and he carries a few players into the end zone, and with 8:07 to go, Jacksonville faces a very tall order here.
From the 23, McCarty, little zigzag move, breaks a tackle, and he could go. McCarty across midfield to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and David McCarty has scored his 4th touchdown of the day. This one goes for 78 yards.
Well, what did we say? When a defense is tired and frustrated, you do some arm tackling, you do some frustration. It looked like they had him for a very negligible game, and that young man is very special because that showed great burst, and he outran the whole Jacksonville team. There was nobody back there. It's a tough situation for Jacksonville right now. It really is, because they're getting clobbered. They're getting, I don't say embarrassed is the word. They're trying their best, but this is a tough situation now, and they got to start getting the buses ready for the flight home.
Paul Dottino and Paul Schwartz back in the Capital District of New York with their host Albany Great Danes. The Northeast Conference champions have won the Gridiron Classic, knocking off the Jacksonville Dolphins from the Pioneer Football League by a convincing 28-0 score. What else needs to be said, Paul? David McCarty had 33 carries for 271 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns.
He was the difference in the game. You know, all eyes were on him. He's the leading rusher in school history. Everyone knew he's the guy who's carry the ball, got him started right away with a 16-yard touchdown run. And, you know, you say, well, did that set a tone? Well, I don't know if it did or it didn't, because it was 7-0 for a very long period of time. But it wore down the smaller Jacksonville defense. Going into the end zone, standing up, never a good sign for a defense. Very sure-handed, fumbled once. I'm sure he's going to live to regret that, as far as, you know, he's a perfectionist. He doesn't want to ever put the ball on the ground. And then you have a play like this. You keep your feet moving, You get rewarded by keeping your feet moving by getting a 75-yard touchdown run. Just an incredible display by a junior player who says he's going into the U.S. Marine Corps after he graduates after next season. Bob Ford doesn't want to hear that yet. He wants him back for another year. Greed is good when it comes to talent like that. And, you know, I would imagine it's fair to say that he'll be named MVP of this ballgame.
No question. McCarty had a 16-yard touchdown run 2.5 minutes into the game. It was 7-0. We went all the way into the third quarter with that 7-0 Albany lead. Then McCarty from 1 yard to make it 14-0 heading into the fourth. And then McCarty scored from 3 and 77 yards out. And it is a 28-0 Albany victory. But let's not forget that Great Danes defense, because, Paul, they did a yeoman's job today.
Well, 70 plays by the Jacksonville Dolphins, and 228 yards. And Small is a great running back. We've been told that. His numbers say that he's a great running back, and he was rendered invisible, And when you make a team one-dimensional, Josh McGregor looks like a good quarterback. He's a freshman, but he had no chance. He made some misfires. He made some, and then you have a turnover. You cannot have turnovers in big games like this. Jacksonville had 4 of them. It could have been worse. I think probably Albany got their hands on 3 or 4 or 5 interceptions. That one they finally seal the end of the game, and that's all she wrote.
And some final totals. Albany had 22 first downs with 456 yards of total offense, 312 on the ground on 46 carries. We already told you about McCarty's numbers. Through the air, Vinny Esposito was 15 of 25 for 141 yards. He was picked off twice. Tim Bush was their leading receiver with 9 receptions for 97 yards. And for Jacksonville, with only 228 yards of total offense, 14 first downs. You mentioned Josh McGregor, pretty good-looking quarterback, but he finishes 10 of 25 for 113 yards and a pick. Rudell Small came in with over 1,300 yards rushing as the PFL's leading running back this year. Only 16 carries for 46 yards as you see the Albany Great Danes and Bob Ford hoisting the Gridiron Classic trophy. And that is one happy championship bunch.
Well, they were not happy last year at this time, and I think it took them about 12 months to get it out of their system. We had a great year, and it ended lousy, and we didn't like getting killed by Dayton in Dayton. And I think they took it onto the field with them. There's no question about it. This meant a lot to them. They came back early from Thanksgiving. Players don't want to do that. They want to be home with their families, but they were here practicing in the cold. There's no bubble here for them to practice in. They practice in the cold, and they came back, and this is their just rewards. Sometimes you got to put in to get in, and they put in, and they got a 28-0 victory against the Jacksonville team, which is pretty good.
Paul, had a great time.
It was great. It was an interesting game, 2 classes of styles, and we stayed pretty warm, and that's not a bad thing either.
Our thanks to members of the Northeast Conference and Pioneer Football League for all of their cooperation, as well as the sports information departments of both Albany and Jacksonville. The Pat Network is proud to bring you today's presentation of the Gridiron Classic. For Paul Schwartz, I'm Paul Dottino saying once again our final score, Albany 28 and Jacksonville nothing. The proceeding has been a presentation of PAC Network. For more information, go to PACNetwork.com. So long from Albany.